Ladies, do you feel like the same type of thirsty guy approaches you whenever you're out? Fellas, do you wind up in the same situation with some needy woman, regardless of how many different types of women you ask out? Well, I've got some good news for you. It's not them, it's you. And tonight I'm going to have some callers on the show, and we'll see if they have a remedy for correcting your issues. The title of this episode is I Keep Attracting the Same People. T2Q is ready to start right now. Buckle up.
T2Q Radio.
Hey, what up, Q? What up, Radio World?
What's going on, people? I want to welcome all of you to the Talk to Q radio show. My name is Quincy, and this is my show. And I'm coming to you live from the south side of the T2Q Man Cave. It is Tuesday, January the 11th, 2022, and this is episode number 975. Now, for those of you who are new to the Talk to Q radio show, welcome. The Talk to Q radio show is a show for adults to get together to rant about whatever the trending topic may be. Anything that fits into the society and culture category, we discuss it. If you have something to get off your chest, then you can do so from the interactive chat room, and your comment may be read on the air. Now, unlike most shows where you simply just listen to the host, I allow you the chance to do the talking. I'll ask the questions, and you have the opportunity to express an opinion or rant on a subject. I want to hear what you have to say, which is why I named the show Talk to Q instead of Listen to Q. Now, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the show. Doing that will help expose me to more people on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and more places. So take a second to do one, if not all three of those things. All right. Thank you very much. Let me go to the T2Q phone lines to see who will be joining the mix this evening. I will start here in the Lone Star State of Texas. And welcome back, Miss McKinney, to the show.
Hey y'all.
Miss McKinney, what's going on?
Not a whole lot. Glad to be back. Thank you for inviting me back.
All right. Thanks for coming on. Shout out to my cousin, Mr. Shelton, in the 601. And let's see. Let me go back to the virtual phone lines and bring this fella back. It's been a minute. From the peach state of Georgia, my man Quaylen. It's always good to have another Q on the show. Quaylen, what's going on, man?
You know, I always love it when you yell the Q, man. I'm doing well, man. 975. That's amazing. Kudos to you on that consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And last but not least, at least for right now, because I don't know if anyone else is calling in, I will go to the show me state of Missouri and welcome on Chandra B. Chandra, what's going on?
Hey, thank you again for having me, Q. Not a whole lot, but I'm glad to be here. And I'm like the other Q, 975. I was like, oh, I might have to play that in the lotto. That's a great number. I like it.
All right, I do expect a portion of your winnings. You know, if that does happen to hit.
Okay, I got you.
I appreciate that. All right, so we'll go ahead and kick things off. And okay, so we're talking about attracting the same people in relationships. You know, sometimes we just can't shake that same person always showing up. It's kind of like, do you remember that? I don't know if you all watch Living Single or not, but one of the characters, Max, always seemed to wind up with a dude with gold teeth. You know, so it's like sometimes you always seem to attract the same type. So, Chandra, I'll start with you. Do you think the number one reason why a lot of us attract the same type of person when we're dating is because we have a type and we want what's familiar to us, or we want what we want?
I think that yes, but I think in a different way than what I'm understanding you to say, right? So it's not so much, it's familiar, yes. So we have a particular type, or or that we're familiar with, whatever that type is. But I don't think that's necessarily the type that we want, right? The part where you said we want what we want. I think we have that feels familiar. So we, that person gets to know us quickly and we feel comfortable because we've been in this place before, but it's not necessarily what we want. We really are looking for something different, but end up with the same thing.
Okay. And Miss McKinney, what do you think? Do you think that because we have a type, that's how we end up with some of the same dating candidates?
I absolutely think that's the reason why. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I absolutely think that's the reason why. And I'm also going to throw a little astrology out there. I think the heart kind of wants what the heart kind of wants. There's certain characteristics and certain things that come along with the individual that always seem to transcend, no matter what the individual's name is. Going back to the astrology, it's a lot to have to do with the sign. I'm gonna throw that out there. Yes, I am a Christian, but I do think that we want what the heart wants. We're just attracted to what it is, and it takes a lot more effort to unattract ourselves to that than it does to just kind of pray and go with the flow, hoping that this one will be a little bit different from the last, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So Quaylen, I mean, if a person has a type, then doesn't that mean they'll always gravitate towards that person no matter what? I mean, even if it's subconscious, kind of like a muscle memory?
Yeah, and that's actually where I was gonna go with it too a little bit. I was gonna say, yes, I believe everyone has a type. Now, whether you know what that type is or not, and if you know what qualities you do and don't want, that comes from just maybe experience in life enough to like be with different people and say, okay, so I still like certain attributes and figuring it out on that front. But I feel like if you're attracted to something, even though everything else is around, you still get focused to something. You don't get attracted to every single body. So it's like you clearly found something attractive about people, and like they tend to be in a similar field if you live long enough. I
All
believe.
right. All right. Well, let me go back to the T2Q virtual phone lines. I have a show legend who is dialing in from the 850 area code, the Emerald Coastline of Pensacola, Florida, making his way to the ring, the man in black, the Buckster. What's going on, Buck?
How's everybody doing this evening?
Doing well, man. How you making it?
Doing good.
All right, glad to have you on, bro. And early happy birthday to you, man. I know your birthday's on Thursday, so shout out to you.
Thank
Early
you.
happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
All right, Buck.
Thank
So
you very much.
this next question is for you, man. If someone always dates people who happens to cheat on them or leave them for other people, then aren't they doing something wrong somewhere? I mean, is it more on the person who gets cheated on all the time, more so than the people who are actually doing the cheating?
That could be some truth to that. I mean, you really have to do your due diligence when you meet somebody for the first time. You need to ask the necessary questions you need to ask to make sure that this person is going to be, if you're going to be in an open relationship or you're going to be in just a regular relationship where, it's just you and that person. So you need to make sure you ask questions on the front end so you don't get, your heart broken on the back end.
Okay. And Chandra, what do you think? Do you think that if someone gets cheated on all the time, it's more about them and not the person people who are doing the cheating?
That's a hard question. I think that, we're going back to talking about attracting the same people. And if it seems like that is a pattern that you always come across, then I would look at the individual that continues to get cheated on, because there's something about either your selection, how you move, that allows that space to be open in your relationship. Now, are they to blame for the cheating? No, but I think that they need to do some, looking in and saying, hey, what is it about me that this continues to happen?
All right. And Quaylen, Miss McKinney, either you have comments on that?
I am just agreeing with Miss Chandra. Again, it's just It's something about what you're attracted to. We know that there are individuals out there, unfortunately, who are not looking for true love. They are looking for a situation, I guess is the way to put it, or their next hand up or whatnot. So when you are one of those people that are transparent and open, oh, my last man cheated on me. Well, someone with that personality, that's like a, I'm gonna hone in on you because I already know, that this is something you've been down. And then they will also flip it and make you feel as though it's your fault that, that you get cheated on. Well, your last boyfriend did it. Now I'm gonna do it. So you just really have to be careful, like Mr. Q said, about opening up your heart and who you're opening up your heart to. I agree.
All right. So, Quaylen, what about this? I mean, change in life is inevitable, yet a lot of people hate it. We all see the pattern of the type of people that we date, yet it's easy just to play victim and act like it's not our fault that we allow these people in our lives regularly. So, how do you break the mold and establish a new pattern in dating?
Up your standards. I know an activity that I did with my girlfriend and I that I thought was really helpful. I wrote out all the qualities of what I thought the perfect woman was. I mean, everything. I just the full list of what I thought the perfect woman was, and then I flipped it and said, "All right, so I see this person. What kind of spouse does this person require?" And I was right, and I was like, "Do I meet all the standards for this?" And I was like, "Oh, there's some places I need to work on. There's some things." And I'm like, "Hey, okay, I need to continue this or even do this more because I see that this attracts a certain thing." So that was something that I do think works. And if you feel like, "Oh, I deserve a better quality of so and so," okay, write out the qualities that you want. Strive to be that partner's equal. You gonna find your equal. That's what I think.
Okay. And from the chat room, Miss Know It All, Miss Know It All too, says cheating is not the fault of the person being cheated on. You can do everything right or wrong and still get cheated on.
Mm.
And that's true. That's true. Sometimes if you date
Mhm.
certain people, that person is just a cheater. They don't care how good you are to them. They're gonna cheat. So you definitely have to watch out for those. But having a type usually puts us in a position to try and change a person into what we actually want. I mean, how many times have you
Yep.
heard a woman say they want someone who acts like Future but loves her like Russell Wilson? Or you'll have a guy say, "I want a woman who's sexy like Cardi B, but she has the mindset of Michelle Obama." I mean, are you looking for love or are you a contractor? You can't just build a mate. So, Buck, have you ever gone into a relationship knowing right from the start that it wasn't going to work, but you tried to do it anyway? Uh-oh, Buck dipped on me on that question. So let me go to you, Chandra. Have you ever gone into a relationship knowing pretty much that it wasn't going to work, but you tried anyway?
Is that for me?
Yes.
All right. Well, in my opinion, I think a lot of us do. I think many of us do. And kind of going back to what you said, that we want that excitement, or there's something characteristic that we are attracted to, but they don't have all of the list. They don't meet all of the criteria on the list, and so we think we can change them. We think we can fix them. And whether it's a man or a woman, I think we have a tendency to think that we can fix people, and that's where we get caught up, because you end up falling in love or being connected in a way that you can't unconnect as easily as you got connected. And so I think many of us try to force a relationship to work, even though we know there's nothing there, but maybe chemistry, but nothing else is going to be there.
Okay. And I agree with that. And Buck, you ever tried to force a relationship to work and you knew it wasn't going to work from the get go? I mean, in your gut, you knew it was a bad idea, but you try to make it work anyway and hope that she would change into what you wanted.
Can't hear you.
I can't hear you, Buck. You're on mute.
All right, can you hear me now?
Gotcha.
Gotcha. All right. If you know in your gut it's not something you need to do, then you need to go in that. You need to cut ties, move forward. Because if you feel in your gut, trust your instincts. because a lot of times you can't really force the relationship. You just have to let ebb and flow. You know when it's right, you know when it's not right. And you know when I think a lot of us know whether we're with a nut or not. It's just sometimes we ignore the red flag. So you just got to be smart, use your brain. If you got a gut instinct that's telling you that this person is not the right one, cut ties, cut bait, move forward.
Okay. And we've all ignored red flags before. Bad Man in Arkansas said too many times he's tried to force it. And he also said you have to let it grow organically. And yeah, and if that person doesn't pan out to what you're expecting, then you can't force them to be anything other than what they are. But does environment play a role when it comes to attracting the same people? Like Quaylen, for example, if you go to the same night spots, the same local hangouts all the time, isn't it a high probability that you're going to attract the same type of person?
Yes, I think it's almost similar to if you are surrounding yourself around a bunch of millionaires that eventually you're gonna be the next one. I've heard that example used pretty frequently, and I think that's pretty true. Your association determines your elevation, and it's like, I'm around these people all the time. Clearly, these tendencies are gonna be picking up. Not saying that if people are drinking all the time, you're gonna be an alcoholic, but I mean, like, the temptations and everything, they're always gonna be there. Alrighty. What they give, that depends on your self-control and like your self-discipline on that front. But I mean, you don't have to keep putting yourself in them situations and in them environments. If you always go to the club and finding people that only want to go to the club when you want to settle down now, like, I don't know, maybe go to like a bookstore or something. I don't know. So that's what I think. Environment does play a role in it. Sometimes you can't control it. It's like you're at school and like these are the people who are around, and I mean that's a little bit different. Sometimes you can't really control your neighbors, but the places that you can go and travel to that you have control of, you got control of.
Okay. Miss McKinney, do you agree? Do you think that if you change your location, you can change your luck sometimes?
I wish it were that simple, but I still think that you like what you like. You're drawn to what you're drawn to. So it takes a little bit more than changing the environment, I think, to be able to be a little bit more successful in that.
Okay. And anyone else have their 2 cents on that? Agree or disagree with Quaylen or Miss McKinney?
I wanted to just add to what Miss McKinney said, in that attracting, you like what you like, but you also, and people aren't going to want to hear this, but we attract people that are very similar to ourselves, right? So if you are in a healthy state, then you attract healthy people. If you are not, if you have insecurities and low self-esteem, then you attract, it may not present itself the same way, but it definitely comes up. That person that's a cheater may be insecure. You're also insecure, but the way that he demonstrates that or she demonstrates that is by having, multiple extra relationships, right? And so if you're insecure, you're going to attract that insecurity. There's that connection, so that you, and whether it's consciously or unconsciously, we attract people that are very similar in the same state that we're in.
All right.
That's my thought, my 2 cents.
Okay.
I agree.
I like that. Y'all smart. And JFI3 in the chat room said that bad company corrupts good character. And what were you going to say, Quaylen?
I was going to say, to an extent, I can agree with what you're saying, but also to an extent, I feel like sometimes you attract people that's like complimentary to you, where it's like, their strength is your weakness. So like there's that instance sometimes too. But for the most part, I agree with you. I just wanted to add that in. I didn't want you to
But your energy, right? One of the things you said, Quaylen, which sticks with me, is that you said, I wrote out what I want in my next partner. And then I flipped it and said, in order for me to get that, I have to be like that. So your energy shifted, right? And so your energy shifted to match the energy of the person that you want to now attract. But if you were still like, okay, I want this person, I want this kind of person, I want this kind of person, but you're not changing, you're not doing anything different, you're going to continue to attract the other type of person that you've been attracting. But when you shifted your energy, then you start gaining a different kind of energy that's coming towards you, in my opinion.
All right. Good stuff. And back on the red flag issues, Miss Know It All, you said we fall for the representative who's only there for about 90 days. Then we spend the rest of the relationship waiting for them to return. Once they show you who they are, leave.
Exactly. I agree
And
with her wholeheartedly.
what about this? How do you all feel about this statement? People who care about what other people think choose their partners accordingly. What do y'all
People
think
who
about that?
care. Say it again.
People who care about what others think choose their partners accordingly.
You know
I
what?
agree.
It does not matter what anybody else thinks, because in the grand scheme of things, you're the one that's supposed to be happy, not everybody else around you. So what difference does it make whether I don't care what anybody else thinks? It's about me and that person, and that's what's really important.
Sometimes that's harder said than done, though. Because, I know, not saying this is specifically in my case, but I know sometimes there's someone where, I really like somebody, but I don't know if so and so would still like me if I'm with this person. Or, I know a lot of times in a lot of instances, people, they have difficulty coming out the closet because what their family thinks about them, if that's the instance and that's the case. So, I mean, yeah, you might say, no, it don't matter what nobody thinks, but what the people around you think about them and what consequently what they think about you because of that, like that plays a role sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
All right. So, y'all were talking about energies not matching and things of that nature. And so let's talk about opposites attract. All right. Because something Natasha in Texas said made me think when she said some people specifically seek out those of the weaker link. Sometimes opposites, may attract. I mean, is that good or bad, or do you believe in it? And it's for whoever wants to respond. Not everyone at once.
I was gonna let the ladies go first. I was gonna say, yeah, opposites attract to an extent. I know only not all the way, because there are still a lot more qualities that I would want the person to have as well. Like, I want you to be intelligent, in shape, fine, creative. Yeah, like if those are some of the hard qualities that look, you gotta have these. Everything outside of that is flexible. Maybe not those. There might be like one or two more, but there's some non-negotiables in there where it's like, if you got bad hygiene and like you just completely financially illiterate, we're not gonna work. I don't care how fine you are, how cool we mesh. No, because no.
Take a bath.
So 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 I would say, for example, like me, I'm 5'3". So my preference is going to be a man that's tall, right? That's my preference. I used to be like, you have to be 5'9" minimum, and that wasn't even what I wanted. You need to be 6 foot plus, right? Because that was an opposite of me. That was something that I was attracted to, and so but that package is more desired than, let's say, the dude that's 5'6". Now 5'6" is still taller than me, right? But there has to be this desire, but there's always going to be people that prey on people. But I don't think that, when we're talking about your topic of keep attracting the same people, that's the same thing. There's always going to be people that prey on someone that they deem as weak or broken or, has a history of trauma or something like that. There's always going to be people that prey on them because they see them as easy targets. But I think that opposites do attract, but I don't know. I think that we have to get out of those patterns, because that person is going to have more people attracted to him at 6'5" than the guy at 5'6". And so now I'm competing with a lot of people, and that competition can be a problem, if you will.
Okay. JA53 said facts. And he also says too many people believe someone completes them when in fact you need to be complete before you add a partner. And that's true,
Absolutely.
because you can find yourself in this whole opposite attracts thing. It can be good or bad. Like if you're an introvert, you may be attracted to an extrovert because they may speak up for you when you don't speak up for yourself, and that could be a good thing. But also, you can be opposite of someone to where you have low self-esteem and they're narcissistic and they know how to manipulate, your low self-esteem. And D. Harris says, love yourself first, and that is definitely important. That is definitely important. And the Wifey Lounge chimed in, and let's see, it says, often cheating is something that an individual has seen growing up or disappointment from their partner. And so, yeah, so, cheating is something that you've seen growing up. So let's talk about what we've seen and what we're familiar with. And if you're the type of person who only dwells in a certain environment, like say, for example, the only time you discuss relationships is on social media. And we all know that 99% of social media is bitter when it comes to relationship. We all want to say this person ain't this person, this gender ain't that, and everything. So, I mean, can you recognize a good relationship if all you do is discuss bad relationships? And Buck, I'll ask you that one.
Well, I don't think you can. I mean, if you're always discussing your relationships online, I mean, social media is a platform for you to be entertained. You can't believe everything you see or read on social media, just like on TV or any other platform you use. You got to use common sense. And I think when you're talking about relationships, you really have to, you got to ask certain questions. You got to ask those probing questions. And you need to do that early, in a relationship, in the getting to know me stage. A lot of people, they get in relationships when, they rush into it. And you really need to take your time and just feel that person out. Make sure that magic is there. And, you feel it between you and, you feel it, she feels it, or, vice versa, and go from there. I mean, and you just can't, you got to take your time with it, because if it's a real good relationship, or it has the potential of being a real good relationship, you take your time and get to know that person, get to know their likes and dislikes. You can get to know your likes and dislikes. And that way, you kind of forget, you move all the silliness out the way. You got two people that are really interested in trying to make each other happy.
All right. So, Miss McKinney, are you there?
I am. I'm having camera issues, but I'm still here.
No worries. Do you believe that a person can just have bad luck in relationships? That it's not necessarily anything that they may or may not be doing. It's just the roll of the dice?
I sure hope not. I hope that with prayer and supplication, right, we can eventually get it right. But yes, I do. I think that sometimes we experience a lot of bad luck, again, because of where we're not necessarily where we're looking, but who we're looking at. We tend to overlook that gentleman that might be 5'3", the same height as us, because we want the one that's a little bit taller. And so I think we might overlook some things sometimes like that. So no, I don't. I hope that we're able to have some good luck in the dating arena, and it's not just always bad luck, but I guess it could appear that way sometimes.
Okay. And y'all are talking about height and everything. I mean, I'm only 5'6", but hey, but when I was out there in the dating game, I was 5'6", but don't let the tape measure fool you. I was still that dude.
Right on, right on.
All right, so last question. We wrap it up. I'm just messing with y'all. And Quayla, I'm gonna ask you this, and this is could be considered a tough question, but I don't know. It just depends. I mean, you're a smart brother. You can figure it out. Do we attract what we think we deserve?
That's one more time.
Do we attract what we think we deserve?
No. The reason I say no, that is a good question, by the way.
Thank you.
Because I just mentally, I want to feel like she's the one that's settling for me. Like, I married up. So like, do I deserve you? Of course not. Like, you're amazing. So that's kind of the mindset that I want to try to keep. So then that way, I'm still always trying to make sure I'm working and loving and caring, and like showing that I do appreciate her in my life. So it's like always feeling like you don't really need me, but I need you. Not that saying I can't do it by myself, but I could do it better with you. Because I do still feel like you need to be complete before you hop into a relationship. Otherwise, it's just you drain another person instead of like helping another person overflow. Spill a little bit. But nah, that would be my answer. Nah.
Okay. Chandra, what do you think? Do you basically attract what you think you deserve?
I think we do. Unfortunately, and it's not easy to swallow. It's not an easy pill to swallow, but we attract what we think we deserve. And so if you continue to get a bunch of, again, I'm talking about your energy, right? So until you identify what is broken in you and you continue to find these negative relationships, it's going to continue to happen until you identify what needs to change in you in order for you to come in healthy and that relationship to thrive. But as long as you're broken or you got things that you still need to work on, you're going to bring all of that. You dragging that baggage, that suitcase, you got that whole set coming into this relationship. And so as long as you're doing that, you're going to be, you're going to continue to have the same issue. So yes, we attract what we think we deserve. So whatever that means, whether it came from our very first relationship that we had that was horrible, whether it's our relationship with our parents, whatever it is, wherever it came from, that notion that you were not worthy or that you were worthy, that's what we do. We attract what we deserve, what we think we deserve.
Okay. And Miss Know It All, you said we attract what we present. All right, so that's interesting. It's kind of talking about the energy you were talking about that we may put off. But what do you think? Do you think that we attract what we deserve?
Yes, I think we do. I'd like to put out an example. A lady that I met here a few months back. I mean, she really there was an energy when I walked by her that made me look back and go, wow, I need to talk to that person right there. And when I finally got a chance to talk to her, not going to go into any details, but the energy was just electric. So, you attract, what you really, I think you do. And if you're putting off a good energy and that person's putting off a good energy, it's pretty awesome.
Okay, so having said all of that, Miss McKinney, if we do attract what we think we deserve, then won't our standards determine the type of people who come into our lives?
Yes. There's one thing that someone told me that's always stuck with me, and it was whoever is attracted to you, that's who you are. And who you're attracted to is who you want to become. So again, I think it's more about, the energy, what you're selling for, what your level is. What's the word I'm looking for? What your standards are, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And you can just accept what's coming at you because that's what's coming at you. And I know that a lot of us do that as well. Or we can re-engage, get ourselves together, raise our standards just a little bit and go after what we're actually attracted to maybe achieve that relationship that we want. At least that's my mindset. That's what I'm working toward.
All right. All right. I feel you on that. And I think you all are doing a great job of your responses. And because you all have different perspectives, even when you're saying the same thing, you're saying it differently. And I think that's pretty good. I mean, that's the purpose of this show, to discuss things that people need to talk about. People who are seriously looking to try to figure out this whole relationship thing. You need to know what's out there. You need to know how people think. So that way, when you know, come across something, you'll have some sort of experience with it, or you've been exposed to it. So I definitely appreciate you all taking the time to join the show and do that. All right. So as far as what's coming on the upcoming shows on Sunday, there's a special edition of T2Q. I have a Q-on-1 interview with an author and keynote speaker, Tia Graham. Her and I discuss how being happy in the workplace can bring about more productivity. She has a book that's coming out on the 16th, and we'll talk about that. That's coming this Sunday, January 16th at 2 p.m. Central Time. And next Tuesday, on the YouTube live talk show, Dating 101. We're going back to basics when it comes to dating. And the first thing we'll discuss in Dating 101 is to be humble. You are not a prize. You know, too many people have the mindset that there's some type of gift and it's stunning their relationship opportunities more than they know it. So we'll discuss that and more. That's part of a 4-part series. We'll discuss that and more on Tuesday, January the 18th, 7:30 p.m. Central Time, here on the Talk to Q radio show. No experts, just opinions. And remember, you can join us live every Tuesday on YouTube in the chat room and give your 2 cents on the topics that we'll discuss. So, okay, final thoughts. We'll get ready to wrap things up and shut things down. And Miss McKinney, someone agrees with you exactly what I was saying. And so we'll get to our final thoughts. You know, we've discussed opposites and whether opposites attract is a good thing or not. We've discussed, do we attract what we deserve? If going out to the same place or changing your environment can make a difference with the type of people you encounter, all of that good stuff. So anything you want to recap on that, or if something else that may have popped in your head, feel free to do so. But we'll go ahead and wrap things up. And Buck, I'll start with you on your final thoughts, man.
Great show. I mean, good to hear all the different opinions. First off, I'll start with this. I'm going to take a quote from Mike Tomlin on this. The standard is the standard. Everybody has a standard when they're, that they have a picture of who they think, or, who they think actually matches them in a relationship. Sometimes we lower our guard down and make bad choices because we think we really need to be in a relationship, or we think that, this is the right person, or knowing that person has already sent up red flags, and you rush to judgment. You have to be certain on these things, and you know what your type is. Don't settle. A lot of people like to settle. Oh, I got I'm in a relationship. Because peer pressure, so to speak. They see all this stuff on social media. They see people posting, all their family stuff or all their togetherness and, and all that kind of stuff. So they think that they have to have that. And in order for you to have that, you got to ask the right questions and, listen to what the other person has to say. And if you don't, then you're putting yourself in a situation that could be really end up bad. So, the standard is the standard. Keep your standards high and make sure you're right too. Because in order for you to have high standards, then you need to have the same type of high standards that you're looking for in yourself. And that's important. If you're going to, if you work hard, and you want somebody that works hard, you want somebody that likes to play hard, if you play hard or what have you, you know what those values are that you're looking for. So as long as you got all of that stuff in line and in order, and you're listening and you're communicating with that other person, everything should be fine. Communication is key. You got to be able to communicate and make sure that y'all are both on the same page, because that's something else that gets kind of left out in the forefront when you're up there in those clouds. But keep your head attached and make sure that you do the right, do the things that are required to make that relationship successful. But great show as always, and can't wait till the next one.
All right. Thanks a lot, man. And again, happy birthday to you. And okay, Quaylen, what you got, man? Final thoughts.
Thank you again for allowing us on your platform. Buck, that was a solid answer. Y'all got a good coach over there. That was a great quote. Good luck in the playoffs, all of that good stuff. But I would say love yourself first. When you're able to do that, a couple of things happen. you show others how to love you through loving yourself first. And then also when that love for yourself is overflowing, now, it's easier for you to love someone else and show them love too. Cause you got enough love for yourself. I want to share it. I got too much of it. Like, and then just through that, you can find you're showing other people, what it looks like to love somebody. Children see stuff like that. So like, if they're seeing what love looks like and they're knowing and they're feeling it, they'll follow in your footsteps and you see that. So now, you never know who's watching you when, you're doing something good or bad. So love yourself and show others how to love you, overflow and love others.
All right. I appreciate it, man. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Absolutely. So you can find me on social media, Quaylon_ISQB. That's QUALON_ISQB. Not Too Deep podcast. We're going to be running up some more episodes with those. Check that out. Not Too Deep podcast will be featuring the Whip Squad. You'll see the links in my bios and everything like that. Also, you can find me on the We Need You album by the Black Man Lab. It's an amazing piece, collaborative album, spoken word and music. Black Man Lab, black like black man, me, lab, LAB. We Need You on all streaming platforms, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. Check it out, feel inspirational, share it, love. It's full of love. You'll hear it. You'll love the album. I hope y'all do. And I love y'all. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it, man. Man, that man got more jobs than Steve Harvey. All right. So, Miss McKinney, let me get your final thoughts, please, ma'am.
Most excellent show. I'm coming away with some more wisdom, feeling like there's some more people who feel the same way as I do, which is always helpful with getting over the hump. One thing I did want to touch on was being equally yoked. We really didn't talk about that. There was a story that I heard in Bible study once that was awesome. They explained to us what equally yoked meant. So there was a cattle prod, that was the yoke. And the shepherd had to be extremely careful about who he matched up with who. And he wasn't putting all strong ones with strong ones. He would maybe put a heavier, weak one with a stronger, thin one. Basically, you don't want someone that is going to break your neck, right? It was very important to get the yoke right for the movement of forward travel. And I think that gave me great peace in deciding who and which direction I was going to go in, even though I do still fall a little short. I thank you so very much for having me on the platform. I always enjoy it. Again, congratulations to you for the amount of episodes that you put out. I hope to catch you one day. So keep on moving, sir. Excellent.
Well, thank you very much. And let the people know where they can find you.
Well, hey, y'all, I'm Miss McKinney of Porch Time with Miss McKinney. That's our podcast. We can be found on all the major platforms, including Apple. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram. And TikTok. That's about all we can handle right now as far as social media. But yeah, y'all, please go out and give us a listen. We talk about all things porch, anything that you can think of where you might be sitting on the front porch talking to whomever and whoever. That's what we talk about on the porch, and we would love to have you.
All right. All right. I appreciate you joining the show. And Chandra, go ahead and shut it down for me with your final thoughts, please.
I agree with what everyone is saying. I just wanted to kind of touch back on that, the standards or values and things like that. And a lot of times what happens is we have these standards and we have these values, but we're consistently inconsistent with what we say we value and the behavior that we demonstrate. And so what we have to do is own our own. Can I cuss?
Absolutely.
On our own shit. Like that's what we have to do. If you say this is what you want, then you have to be that 100. You have to live those values. You have to live those standards. And a lot of times we're not willing to do that. We do a lot of talking, but not a lot of walking the walk, right? And so it's important that if you deserve it. That's the other thing. The key thing is what Quaylon said, which is love yourself. That's number one. Number two, you got to believe you deserve it. And then 3, own your own shit. Own it, right? Because the only person that's going to change the people that are in your life and the decisions that are made is you. You control all of who and what you invite into your space. Nobody else. And so you have all right to make decisions to change that. So, and thank you again, Q, for having me. It's always a pleasure. I always meet new and interesting people when I come on here, and you know everybody. So probably because you've been doing this for 10 years, and every time I see it, it's so masterful. I'm always like jaw dropped in the back of the in the lounge, waiting to come on. Like, how does he do all of this? But you're awesome, and I appreciate the opportunity to come
I
on the show.
appreciate the kind words. I really do. Let the people know how they can connect with you.
Ooh, I am the host of the Chase Lounge Relationship and Dating Podcast. And, we talk about everything relationship. And so relationships are my thing. And that's why you got to be in the right space, in the right place to invite that in your life. Otherwise, you're going to get what you get. So, and doing the work, the best relationship starts with you. So if you do the work with you, then you're going to attract and get what you want. So, and that's it. But yeah, I'm on all of Spotify, Apple, all of those medias. And then on Instagram, it's Lounge the Chase.
Okay. All right. Well, cool. Well, look, I appreciate all of you dropping knowledge on the show, and that's how we all grow. We hear different perspectives, and we try to take it and evaluate it and get something out of it. So, but when trying to figure out why you attract the same types of people in relationships, you have to pay attention to the patterns. We tend to attract what's familiar to us because we subconsciously fear the unknown. A lot of people wouldn't even know what to do with a good man or a good woman. How often do I feed it? Do I walk it? We got to break the cycle. Stop selecting people who need fixing. This isn't HGTV. This is real life. Don't be in your late 30s dealing with the same problems you had in your mid 20s. I mean, that's not growth. Look in the mirror and own up to what you're doing, and learn self-love. And loving yourself doesn't mean a mani-pedi or massages or a weekend on the couch watching Netflix. Loving yourself means saying no to an ex who wants to hook up with you again. Loving yourself means saying, not spending your money at a bar buying top shelf drinks for a woman who only likes you when you're treating her. Loving yourself means to set boundaries and expectations that will run those bad people off and make the good ones take notice of the fact that you have respectable standards. So my advice to everyone is to help do this, expand your mind. Our perception of dating is dependent on how how exposed we are, I guess, to positive and negative relationships. If all you see are bad relationships, then how can you recognize a good one? Check out shows like this one, or watch dope discussions live on Sundays, or relationship gumbos on Wednesday, and listen to people who are having discussions about helping others improve upon themselves so they can attract the right kind of dating candidates. If you only dialogue with bitter people on Facebook who just like to share stories on how a man or a woman ain't this or that, then how can you grow? You're shutting your mind off to the possibility of a good person even existing when you do that. You need to let go of that mindset and realize that there are people out there who will love you if you will throw away your type and date with an open mind. All right. Search for hashtag T2Q or hashtag Talk to Q on social media. I will see you all next week. Also, people, please be careful out there. I know Bad Man just recently got over COVID. He was in ICU for a minute, and I lost a former coworker to COVID yesterday. She was the sweetest lady ever. I don't even think she was 40 years old. So regardless of how you feel about COVID-19, please be safe and be mindful of others. Just because you may feel invincible doesn't mean that the person in line in front of you at the grocery store is too. So give people their space and an opportunity to live. All right. Let's practice common sense instead of playing politics all the time. All right. So I will see you all next week. And yeah, peace out.